3 months with Apple's latest flagship, the iPhone 14 Pro Max. I have some great things to share and also some negative things. There's no shortage of that either, so stick around for that. Starting off with the selling point, and the biggest thing about this iPhone 14 Pro Max is the dynamic island, obviously. And I've actually come to admire a lot, especially as more and more apps are utilizing this dynamic island. It's basically like a useful widget at the top of your screen that is dynamic. What really builds my admiration over time for the dynamic island is the little things, from the 10% and the 20% low battery mode pop-ups showing up at the top of your screen now instead of rudely interrupting your content, from my favorite flight tracking apps persistently showing my gate number on the right side and my time of departure on the left side, from the album art of the music that I'm listening to with the corresponding color and sound waves that are unbelievably detailed with specific lines showing the bass and the high tones and the low tones of the music. It's incredibly detailed. It feels like an Android experience in a way. I've never had an Android, but it feels like an Android kind of experience, but with the cleanliness and the organization of Apple. Because you know, Apple is known for that clean, non-cluttered, futuristic, simple kind of touches on their phone designs, and actually everything else that they design as well. Moving on to the battery life of this phone, I am a heavy user of my phone, by the way, and 3 months later, and it's still at 100% battery health. I'm coming from an iPhone 12 Pro Max that I've had since launch, and it has like 90% battery health, and it is no bueno compared to this new phone's battery life. To sum it up, I would say I feel confident and strong about this phone's battery life. And I could just feel confident that my phone's not going to die in the middle of the day, you know? Even when I'm doing the heaviest of tasks with my phone, it's just so incrementally slow when the battery's going down. I don't even think about it. It feels like a long time. To give you a visualization, on my previous phone, the 12 Pro Max, after about 3 hours of heavy use, high brightness, taking videos, using 5G and 4G, it would be dead. But with my new phone, the 14 Pro Max, after about 3 hours of doing heavy tasks such as filming, 5G, high brightness, this phone will probably be halfway dead. So that for me is just a huge upgrade. Another positive of the 14 Pro Max that I would like to point out is the Face ID. Oh my goodness. And this was huge for me because my 12 Pro Max, the Face ID was so horrendous. I could not use it from any angle. The phone was like this and I had to look like this. It wouldn't work. I literally had to pull the phone up to eye level in some circumstances just for the Face ID to recognize me, and then it will always lock and then have me put in my password. That was terrible. But with the 14 Pro Max, the Face ID is so much better. They definitely improved it a lot because the phone could be like this. I could be peeking over it and it'll still recognize me and unlock. Just feels like fluid and reliable. Like the phone just unlocks so much easier now. It doesn't lock up on me like hardly ever. So Face ID is a huge improvement to the 14 Pro Max. Now let's talk about the camera on the 14 Pro Max, and here's where we get into some negative things, believe it or not, that I have to say about this phone. Now, these camera sizes are huge, which is a good thing, right? It allows more light in and all that good stuff, but it is impossible now to take pictures of anything up close. For example, if I want to take a picture of this chair from this distance, it just wouldn't be able to do it. It would just remain blurry, never focus, because the aperture is so low and it's so big to let in so much light that it's impossible to focus anything up close. Now I know that Apple did a thing where it switches to the wide angle lens and all that good stuff, but it's just not the same. Like seriously, it looks ugly, it's more washed out looking, it's less colorful. So far, 3 months, there's just too many practical real world scenarios where this phone's camera has failed me. I travel a decent amount and I'm always trying to take, you know, pictures and videos out the airplane window, and this phone is always switching to macro lens control. It is infuriating and it annoys me greatly. I went into the settings, to the creative control camera setting, and I tried to disable or enable the preserve settings, and none of that works. It always tries to use the macro lens even when I want it to focus beyond the plane window, and this happens every single time, which is why I'm emphasizing on it. If you have this phone and you try and take a picture or video at the airplane window, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And don't even get me started with nighttime. So when I'm trying to take a picture or video out of the airplane window at nighttime, it's impossible. It's like this phone's greatest enemy is trying to focus at nighttime from behind a window. Like seriously, this phone is so incompetent in that scenario that I've had to pull out my 12 Pro Max, which is the phone I'm using to film this video with, and switch to that just to take a picture or video something up close. It's crazy. But don't get me wrong though, the low light capability is great. I'm going to throw some side-by-side comparisons of low light footage between my 12 Pro Max and the 14 Pro Max so you can see the improvements that larger lens with this bigger aperture provides. So you guys can pixel peep and check out if there's any notable low light differences worth pointing out, which, just touching on the bokeh blur effect, it's actually so good that I haven't even used portrait mode anymore. It's been a long time since I've used portrait mode to take a picture of somebody or thing. Another negative camera quirk I want to touch on is the different lens switching. So for example, if I click 3x, I want the phone to switch to 3x, not use the main camera and then like artificially enhance the photo. No, I wanted to use the 3x camera, but unfortunately, in some circumstances, in my case, like at nighttime, for example, it just does not switch to the specific camera lens that I want to use, because the phone is trying to guess that I want to use the main camera instead because it captures more light than the telephoto. But it's just like, no, Apple improved the telephoto cameras, and then whenever I switch to 2 or 3x in low light scenarios, switch to 2 or 3x, don't use the main camera and then crop in. I don't like that, and there's no way to override that in the settings either, which is unfortunate. With all that said, here's what I do like about the brand new 14 Pro Max camera, which is the 48 megapixel RAW capability, which I've been having a lot of fun taking pictures of subjects in the distance and then cropping in really far, and then it would look like as if I just took a normal picture of that thing more close up. But it's not very practical to do many things with that file because it's a RAW file meant to edit and compose yourself, with huge file sizes as well. But I wish there was a way they could kind of like make it, you know, like a normal picture kind of style, and you could just share it on Twitter or something, which I actually think is the case. But then you don't get all the great Apple enhancements that they do, setting aside the overbaked HDR. Before I close out this video, I'd like to point out that I got the space black color instead of the purple color, which everybody else is probably gonna go for, but I got the space black color, and I'm really enjoying it with my Apple leather case, which smells so good, by the way. If you have one of these Apple leather cases, just pull it out and just smell it, and it smells really good for some reason. I don't know why. And I have the 256 gigabyte model, which is actually necessary. I think it is necessary if you're actually going to be doing anything useful with this phone. If you're going to be having a lot of apps and taking a lot of videos that you want to keep on your phone, you will need the 256 gigabytes. I know with my previous 12 Pro Max, 128 gigabytes, I was taking videos for my YouTube videos that I make on here on this YouTube channel, and I was definitely getting close to that limited threshold. And I personally don't like keeping anything in the cloud. I just like to have it on device, fast storage, ready to use. And with all that said, I believe that will conclude my thoughts after just 3 months of use. Remember, I just got this thing for 3 months. I got it in January. My unboxing and initial first impression video, which is on my channel if you guys want to check it out. I don't know if you guys want to check it out, but it's there if you guys want to see it. I'm going to make another one of these a year from now, or not a year from now, but 9 months from now, for the 1 year final thought review. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to drop a like if you liked the video. Subscribe if you want to see more videos from me, and leave a comment letting me know what you think about this video. What could I have done better? Stay tuned for more videos. Peace out.